Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is How to Happen iOS. And today we have Michel AKA Zland on the show for an interview, and we're going to Oge. Yeah, we're going to Oge. We're going to Oge by playing a song. This is called Glad to Have Met You. It's Oge. Boom! Welcome to the show. That was so relaxing. I was falling asleep, and I know Michael's laughing at that joke right there. That was Glad to Meet You by our guest today, Michel AKA Zland. Finally on the show. Hey, you all doing well out there? I'm doing well. It's a Friday morning. I'm kind of super tired. Actually, was up really late. You know what? These big channel changes, guess what? They're a really good idea inside my head. And then I started implementing them. And guess what? Not so much of a good idea now. Too much work. But here we are, and we're going to have some fun and meet Michel today, who's been around the community for as long as I can remember, especially around Pete John's channel. He's been making music over there, and he's got a huge catalogue of music, and we're going to talk about how that came into existence today. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. I hope you're all doing well. You know, the usual deal. About 20, 30 minutes in, we'll come over and say hello to you. Let everyone chill, relax, grab a coffee, grab whatever it is you're drinking, and relax while we get this show on the road. So let's get this Canadian musician in the chat and find out more about him. I can see him sitting there waiting in the wings. Yeah? Let's do it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the one, the only, the man with the Z's, it is Michel AKA Zland. Let's bring him on. Let's Oja. Hello. What's happening?
Yeah. What's happening?
We're hyped. We're ready to go. No, thank you for coming on the show. It's really exciting to have you on because I've been a fan of your music for a long time, but didn't really know much about you. Just know the Z's in the chat. You know, that's how does that roll with you? Because you know, every time I go into a chat and your music's played, there's all these Z's floating everywhere. We were talking at the start of the show how the title of the show is like "Welcome to Z-Land." It looks like a little bit. But Z's are a thing that's, does that float with you and how does it work?
Yeah. Well, you know, I came up with a name a long time ago. I mean, I was writing a short story. It was called Zealand. And for me, when I saw Zealand, I put ZZZLand, right? But when, you know, then Pete Johns, you know, had a couple of my songs came on and he would announce me by saying ZZZ land. It wasn't exactly the ZZZ land part I wanted. I wanted the Z land. Of course, it took me 4 years to realize that. That's why, if you notice, I changed it to Z land because, I mean, in my mind, ZZZ was the sleeping part, you know. But, you know, when you say ZZZ land, it doesn't sound too good. So that's why I kind of moved it 4 years later to Z land.
I love it. I love the whole concept because when we're in a live chat, then we see bang, all of a sudden the Z's come in the chat. We know your song's up next. It's like you were made to have an emoji.
Yeah, I guess what I should have been specializing is ambient music, right? That would have been a great title, great name for, right?
Absolutely. Hey, it's never too late.
Yeah, but you know, ambient music, I mean, I did a bit of it. My brother asked me to do some ambient music, so I kind of did it. But, you know, recording ambient music is sort of not exactly the most thrilling thing in the world, right? Although I try to put, you know, at the beginning, I tried to put a melody in ambient, and you know, ambient shouldn't have melodies, you know, because it should be just like a. So it's not an interesting thing to actually write or even tape, but it's, you know, it was fulfilling because he wanted to hear some ambient music, so I told him I'd get him some, but it's not exactly the most thrilling thing to actually work on, right? To be honest, it's.
Are you kidding? I love ambient music. I'm currently working on an ambient album right now. And I'm putting all these puzzles out on the internet to hope people try and find out what it's all about. But it's essentially an ambient album. Like I find it really exciting. That's terrible, isn't it? Like I find music that puts you to sleep exciting.
Yeah, because when you have to re-listen it, master it and stuff, you have to, you know, go on and listen to it, and you're dozing off and you're waking up, have a cup of coffee.
You know,
I forgot this thing, you know.
It's been perfect because like every song that I've been working on, I test it by putting it on my iPad before I go to sleep and put it on. And if it's sending me to sleep, we're doing okay.
Yeah.
You know?
My problem was I was trying to put a melody in there. You know, I was always trying to always put a melody somewhere, but that kind of defeats the purpose of ambient because, you know, although you should have a slight melody once in a while just to kind of change the thing, but it sort of defeats the purpose of the, you know, the Zen thing. And
well, I don't know. Let's talk about that. Does music, do you think music has rules?
Not really. Not really. But I mean, you know, if the music has effects on you, right? So if it's ambient and you put a loud sound or a loud, you know, whatever in between of it, it kind of defeats the purpose of chilling out, right?
For sure, yeah, and it's interesting like the way we genre music as well because music it feels like there's so many cross genres now. Ambient music can be soundscapes, can be people class noise music as ambient as well because even white noise and stuff like that. But even that to most people would put on. I mean, I guess people's hearing is different. I can go to sleep to white noise, but you put on white noise for some people, they'll be like, "Get that off! I can't deal with it. It's annoying white noise." Where some people, it's really soothing, you know.
Yeah, I got a Bose thingamajig, you know, and you know I stick him in there, and it's. I mean, you put it loud enough that you could still hear like emergency, you know, like, but it's really actually I sleep really well with that in the background. I mean, it's amazing. I mean,
I used to sleep really well to people talking, and for the longest time, I listened to podcasts, And then I realized I actually wasn't sleeping that well. And it was all in my head that I was sleeping well. And I switched to ambient music and white noise probably about the same time Brad sent me a dream catcher, and I started having horrific nightmares since Brad sent me this dream catcher. It wasn't very good. It was letting the demons in at night, so I had to move it. But no, but ambient music has been definitely helping me sleep. Like last night, I put on some stuff and I was out like a light. Where normally I would put on a YouTube video or something, and I was noticing that I was still awake 40 minutes because I was listening to the bloody podcast.
That's it. Yeah, you should never put something that you want to listen to, a tape, a novel or something, on tape. Or podcast, like you say, if you're listening to it, it defeats the purpose of trying to fall asleep. Unless the voice is very soft and sort of, and you're not really paying attention to what he's saying, but he's putting you to sleep, sort of thing.
Yeah,
that might be work.
If I put on politics, that puts me to sleep now. That works perfectly. All right, let's get into the meat of this, and I'll hit you with the first question I bang everybody with. Michael, what does music mean to you?
It means, I've been listening to music ever since, I can remember. It's the soundtrack of my life. So I do a lot of things with music in the background. I often, singing to myself, listening to music, hearing music and stuff. It's sort of it's the soundtrack of my existence.
Now, your existence is very fascinating.
Well, existence, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is very fascinating, your existence. And I think a lot of people probably wouldn't know, because you really have to, like, I'm jumping ahead here, but you really have to go back through your YouTube channel to see the difference, because I went right back to the beginning to do some research on you, and your channel was a very different channel up until probably 2018, maybe. I think
before that, yeah.
It was. I think it seems like it was around the time you found Pete Johns that it all kind of changed a little bit. So it was all Pete.
Yeah.
It was all your fault, Pete Johns.
Yes, it is.
the gateway drug, Pete Johns.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because at the beginning, this YouTube thing was I was putting travel videos or pictures and stuff, and I would put music behind it, and I was actually taking music from different sources and stuff, and then eventually I said, well, maybe I could write my own music, my own videos to my travel videos. That's how it started, right? So I started to add things, and that's how it evolved, and eventually it became music videos, and it's evolving from there. It's like now I'm trying to add the voice. As somebody said once, slow rap. Slow my slow rap release. This was happened, and then I'm trying to sing. In fact, the last couple of songs I'm trying to actually use my voice. I'm only using this mic to sing in. I got nothing else. But I'm able to kind of I hear a voice, because they say that anybody could sing, right? Not everybody could sing well, but everybody could sing. If you hit the right note, the right pitch, the right. And I found that I did a song just recently. It'll be released next week there, and actually I sound okay. I didn't sound like off pitch or but like I said, it's a confidence thing too, because you start at first. I start to talk. I say you hear yourself talking. You say you hear yourself and you say this doesn't sound great, right? But people say listen to it and say it sounds good, a good voice, blah blah blah. So okay, so I continue, and then the singing thing. Well, I just start singing and see what happens, right? And
absolutely, that's how it starts, And look, we all hate our voices. No, even the best singers hate hearing themselves back and are constantly critical and all that stuff. And I don't know if you know, I used to teach singing for a very, very long time. And, I believe everybody can sing. I don't believe everybody starts at the same level. But I mean, people get better if they want to get better. And clearly, the hearing you say that makes my heart flutter and get excited because I love hearing people want to sing and stuff. And, you know, Pete says it all the time. I say it all the time too. You don't need super fancy mics. The thing that you've got there right in front of you is the microphone. It's how much you want to invest into singing that you will get better. The more you do it, the more you'll get better. It's just what it is. The less you do it, the more you're not going to sound better. You know, it's simple mathematics.
And you know, the funniest thing is that, you know, I'm in a small condo. So when I start to sing, my wife is at the other end of the condo, and it was like, I was like holding back because I didn't want to sing. I was like, you know, it's like I couldn't hear myself, right?
Yeah.
Then I was waiting for her to get out of the place, you know, like to go to a store or something. I said, okay, I got an hour here. I could actually go for it, right? But now I feel more comfortable, you know, singing. She just listens and says, okay. It's like, but at first it's like, whoa, you know, like other people's listening to this, and I'm saying,
Yeah.
I was like, I swear to God, I was like so low I couldn't hear myself when I was listening to it. After I have to bunch up the thing and sing it gotta, you know. And then as I was able to feel comfortable singing, then the voice part came out, you know.
Yeah, well, that even some of the best singers still suffer with that problem. I mean, if you're singing hunched and inside and not projecting, I mean, you have to sing. When you sing, you have to stand and you have to bellow. Even when you are singing tender, soft moments, you still have to project and emote and feel it, and it has to come from the body, because that's the thing I think a lot of people forget, that the voice is a living thing. It's, you know, it's not a guitar, it's not a saxophone, it's a living, breathing thing. And if you're not eating well, if you're not just sleeping well, if you're not exercising well, guess what? You're not singing well either. Everything stems on because you're a living thing. And if you're hunched over and afraid of what people think, it's going to sound like you're singing like you've got somebody over your shoulder. That just is what it is. I remember when I first started singing, Michael, and my girlfriend at the time, when I was really young, I used to give her money to leave the house to go and do things.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah.
I used to bribe her to leave so she wouldn't hear how crap I was. But then she said she liked it, so then I just stopped giving her money, and that was easier. So let's talk about the music that when you're growing up. Now where were you born? You're Canadian, obviously, Montreal.
Montreal, yeah.
And what about your parents? Did they listen to music when you were young? Do you remember the music that was played on their stereos or in the car? What you heard as a kid?
Not really.
Nothing.
Not really. I mean, I remember finding some old 78s. Remember 78s?
Yeah, of course I do. I'm ancient. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Patty Page and, you know, Tennessee Waltz and crap like that. Well, crap. It's not nice. It's not bad music, but they weren't big into music at all. Yeah.
So what did they do for entertainment?
I don't know. No, just kidding. They worked hard. I mean, my mother had 3 jobs, and my dad worked and, you know, drank hard, you know.
So what did you listen to? How did you discover music when you were young then? Were you handed down records from somebody? Did you have a mentor or somebody like that, or friends that got you into music?
No, basically listening to AM radio. You know, in the day AM radio, right?
Yes,
and
indeed.
then AM radio, and then like my first 45 was I bought a 45 was CCR, Green River and Commotion. That was the first 45 I ever bought that I remember, and then it moved on from there. And I had to a point I had a massive record collection, and you know, there was crates, those milk crates and stuff.
I sure
and
remember.
Unfortunately, when I moved, I gave them away. Imagine that. Could have made a fortune in this. I gave like a lot of them, just I gave them away because I didn't want to move with it. So, but it's unfortunate now. It's like I'm devoid of vinyl. Totally.
Yeah, look, it's a heartbreaking story. I'm sure I'd love to hear people in the chat, their experience with it, because I was the same, mate. I probably had 2,500 records when I was young, in crates and in a huge case. And then I joined a band. And let me tell you what happens there. You join a band, right? And it's all going good. And then you got no money because you're in a band. And guess what you have to start doing? Selling all those records to keep the band going. And then before long, you got no records left. And you're like, where the hell did they go? And I still have no money because I'm still in this stupid band. And that was how I lost all my records. And it was just, you know, you get so swept up in trying to make music that you lose the music that inspired you to start making music. And I regret it so much.
And then the CDs came, you know, get a bunch of CDs, and that went through. I didn't do too much the 8-track stuff, but the CDs, the tapes, I had a bunch of tapes, then CDs. Now it's virtually, you know, everything is streaming now. I'm on Spotify. I got 3 million, you know, unfortunately that's where it is.
Do you think, like, this is I'm going to be talking about this on my rant this week. Well, not, the topic's a bit clickbaity. It's about boomers. But do you find now where we're at, like after growing up and owning records and, you know, going through CDs and all of that, do you find you listen to as much music now with streaming services, having all of that library available? Do you utilize it, or is it overwhelming?
No, I use it. I use it a lot. I mean, the only thing I miss is actually when I used to purchase a vinyl, opening it up, reading it 50 times, you know, listening to the thing as you read the bio and the lyrics and all that stuff. The smell of it, that I kind of miss. But aside from that, I mean, now I listen to, I got a, you know, rock, jazz, classical. There's like 3 million, you know, options, and I listen to new stuff. I listen to the old stuff that's been, you know, remastered 50 times, you know. No, I do listen to a lot of digital stuff, much more than actually records, to be honest.
That makes me happy because, you know, it's funny. I check my Apple Music I don't use Spotify. I try and just use one. I mean, they got all the same stuff anyway. I pay one subscription because I've got enough subscriptions everywhere else. But I check what's new, and thankfully these services curate to my taste. And most of the time they get it right, except every now and again there's like a Whitney Houston best of. I'm like, how the hell did that get in there? Or maybe I do listen to Whitney Houston. Oh, no. But most of the time they get it right. But I find I'll go in and see like a whole bunch of albums drop and go, yep, save. I'll listen to those this week. And that week goes by and I don't listen to them because there's too much going on. And I feel overwhelmed when I open the Apple Music app these days. I find I get really overwhelmed and then just close it and go to Bandcamp. But so I'm glad to hear that you're getting value from it.
Yeah, I listen to that. I listen to this stuff on Slaps. I listen to even the community stuff, the music. I mean, I like all kinds of music, so you know and there's some great music out there. So there's a lot of choice, and I just enjoy it. When I do work, I work on my website and stuff. I listen to music. When we drive, I listen to music. You know, like it's everywhere. It is like you say, when you look at it and there's like 50,000 choices. Sometimes I spend too much time trying to figure out, okay, what I want to listen to. But eventually, you know, like especially like classical stuff, there's some, you know, there's millions of versions of stuff, and it's quite interesting. I mean, you could spend your life, you know, when I'm traveling and stuff, go on a plane, just put the music on, and it's like, don't worry about anything, you know. So that's the good part about it, you know.
Yeah, traveling's the best time for me to listen to music. I put in those Apple AirBuds and I'm off.
Yeah,
that's when I really get to listen to music. You know, people, now I know you like to travel. I love to travel. I've traveled at least 3/4 of the world in my lifetime, seen many, many countries. And I love getting on a plane. I don't care what anybody says. Last week we had Michael on here, who's a pilot, and I got so into talking about flying because I love traveling and hearing about the pilots thing. And look, I go on a long haul, know I'm going to be on a plane for 18 hours, and I get so damn excited because I'm going to like listen to music and get as much music as I can. I don't care about the weirdos next to me and no leg room. That really doesn't bother me. Just give me some music and I'm happy. How about throwing at me 3 albums in your life that have been monumental, like that you just can't live without, that you love?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm throwing you right in the deep end.
Yeah. Well, um, okay, I'll have to say Led Zeppelin. Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin 4.
Yep. Killer.
Okay.
What is it about that
Um,
album? What is it about Led Zeppelin 4 that tickles your fancy?
I like it, I like it from the first note of Black Dog to Stairway to Heaven. I remember listening on radio on a FM station when it first came out. They said, "Here's the new Led Zeppelin album," So everybody, they played the entire album online on the air, right? And it was like, wow! And that Stairway to Heaven at the end, it was like, it's like, oof. I mean, not at the end, but you know, it was it was diversified, and there was a hard stuff, there was acoustic stuff, and it's just hit the mark. It's like
It's their
really, really
breakout
good.
album, isn't it? It really felt like
Yeah.
that was I mean, Stairway to Heaven's just people. It's such a shame now. Like Wayne's World really turned it into a meme. The whole "No Stairway to Heaven," but you can't deny it is one of the greatest songs ever written. Like
Yes.
people talk about Hotel California. I can't stand that song. I hate it. But I hear Stairway to Heaven every time I want to listen to it right through the end. It's just there's so much depth to it.
I like the version that came out, the BBC's, Led Zeppelin BBC sessions, and that version actually, you just had written it, right? This was one of their first times they actually did it live, and his voice was really powerful, and it sounded actually better than the album. That version of is very good.
Mate.
Eventually, if you see the later ones, like on the other live albums, his voice is like, you could see at the end, he's like, "Yeah, I gotta hold back because I can't go anymore," because his voice was done. But that first one was basically, that was just off the press, right? He just finished it in the studio. They went to the BBC, they recorded it, and his voice sounded the same as on the record. And so the last part, when it goes like, go crazy there, I mean, his voice actually, made it, So that was really thrilling.
Mate, you haven't lived. Now, I didn't know this until Russ told me, because one of Russ's favourite artists is Rolf Harris. And Russ told me about Rolf Harris's version. And I am joking. But Rolf Harris did a version. And even though we shouldn't talk about Rolf Harris because he's a sex offender and all that stuff these days.
Yeah.
But he did a version of it with a fucking wobble board. And he did the, "There's a lady," it's the most abhorrent thing I think I've ever heard. But Russ loves it, so what can you say? What about another album?
Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon.
See, Russ has probably inspired that answer.
No. Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, you're right. But it is true. I mean, I just listened to it. That they remaster this stuff. Like every other 15 years or 20 years or 50 years. I mean, it's 50th anniversary. There's going to be the 75th anniversary. They digitally whatever. But it's still even listen to the Wembley live version when they first they toured with it, and it was really good. I mean, it's 35 minutes or 36 minutes, right? The records in those days, like on vinyl, you weren't like, today is like, on stream you could have like 6 months.
Yeah, it's another thing too. If you're thinking about releasing music these days and you want to put out on vinyl, you got to think about it, man, because you can only fit 17 minutes per side or something like that. So you've got to be very careful about that stuff. Pink Floyd, I've been listening to so much Pink Floyd lately. Just so much. And, I go through spurts with Floyd. I remember the first time I got into them, I'd heard about them heaps. I was already a metalhead, and everybody had told me, you got to listen to Floyd, you got to listen to Floyd. And everything I'd heard, I was like, I don't know. And then I had my first joint. And we put on Pink Floyd, and you know what? That was the moment it resonated. I was like, hey, I think I am comfortably numb right now.
Yeah, it was actually, there was a concert in Montreal in 77 at the Olympic Stadium, and seemingly after that concert, that's when what's his name, Waters, got the idea of doing the wall. He wanted that wall between them and the fans, because he spit at a fan or somebody, And that's he kind of after that he kind of said, okay, I got to think of this idea of the wall between the artists and the fans, and that's the wall. So basically, it was after that concert he kind of the germ of an idea came up. Yeah, because he actually spit on he kind of regretted it. And I don't know what happened, but somebody was yelling or stalking what he was singing or whatever, and he just told him to shut up and whatever and spit. He spat on him. And that's Roger Waters for you.
That's rock and roll right there. What about your third album? Give us something else that you can't that you go to help. I don't know, make you feel good, make you feel sad, whatever it does.
Yeah. Shoot, I had something and I lost it. As you get older, right? You know what happens, right? You start, so you think of something and it's like you've lost it.
Tell me about it.
Oh yeah, I gotta say Bob Dylan. I was 61.
Yep.
I mean that was a killer album. I mean, I like the lyrics, and of course everybody makes fun about his voice, right? His vocals, but to be honest, it fits he's got a very expressive vocals. Like okay, it's not the greatest vocalist, but for the songs and what he's doing, it's amazing. If you listen to him closely, he's a pretty good singer. I mean, in the sense that he knows how to swing a song.
It's an interesting topic that you hear people say it all the time. They bring up Bob Dylan, then go, and then there's like this. We all know about his voice, and it's like, but all right, but is it that bad? All right,
No.
That's the thing. Like, if something was really that bad, then you would utterly hate it. Now, I don't know if anybody's heard "Red Dress" by Sarah Brand. That's possibly the worst song I've ever heard. Her vocals are so out of pitch; it's just horrible. And it turns out that was intentionally like that. But Bob Dylan, like everybody has a vocal style. Like I remember when Nirvana hit and I first heard Nirvana, I was like, man, wow, the vocals aren't very good, are they? Like he's not, like he's screaming his head off and he's like, his voice is like losing pitch but it's a style, isn't it? It's a stylistic thing. Yeah. If it really wasn't that good, then why does the music linger for so long? Why does it resonate with so many people? It just can't be because of the lyric writing.
Yeah.
It's there's something about it that sticks out, and I think it's because it's unique.
Yeah, I mean Van Morrison. I mean, I don't want to throw another one there. Van Morrison is somebody that you either like his voice or you don't. But he's he has mannerism when he sings and stuff, and it's so intense. It's so interesting. If you go beyond sometimes you find him annoying, but the songs I really like Van Morrison a lot. For especially the first 15 albums there. But that's another one I would throw out there. I listen a lot to. I used to listen a lot to. I still do actually.
Yeah, I love Van Morrison as well. Let's play a song. So we've got through there.
Yes.
I'm gonna play Just Because, and I think the reason is that just because I can. So this is another track that you've selected from your list, and we're going to come back here and say hello to all the kind people who are here in the chat, all 25 of you wicked souls. So thanks for being here. We'll call you out in a minute. Let's play Just Because, and then we'll talk about it when we come back. This is Michel AKA Zland or Zland, however you want to say it. We're the Aussies, so we say, I don't even know what I say anymore. I've lived in America and Australia, ZZLand, whatever you want to say it doesn't offend us. Let's play this. This is Just Because. Let's ooja.
Just because you're cautious don't mean you're afraid. Need your eyes wide open to continue your crusade. Just because you're restless don't mean you're bored. As you push minutes into hours, Just because it's raining, you don't need to be sad. Just because she made you feel like you've just been had. Just because it's unfair that the world goes round for some. Just because you've prayed all day don't mean your day will come. Just because all that's free comes with a price, you're always thinking twice. Just because it makes no sense to pretend that the straight line will ever bend. Just because it's often black or white, there are shades of gray. You can run as fast as you can, but you're bound to pay. Just because it's a lie, the fate draws the line, carving out your path through the sands of time. Just because you say you love me doesn't make it true. Your kisses make me angry because it's all about you.
Wow. Really beautiful stuff. Now, let me tell you, as somebody who teaches for a long time, you came to me after, and I followed your music for the longest time. You know, I've followed your musical career and seen how you've developed, and I love that you're singing. Yeah, I love that you're finding the balls to do it because it's one of the hardest things to do. Because you know you are painting a fucking target right on your heart when you sing every single time. So it's a big thing. And what I hear in there, if I was a singing, let's just pretend nobody's watching this. It's just me and you on the internet. If I was your singing teacher here, I'd be so. Well, I am. I'm telling you right now. Keep pushing, because I can hear you absolutely understand melody, right? I can hear that you're singing from within yourself, and the more you push through and just convict to it, it will just get better and better and better. And before long, you will just be, because those melodies are there. They're absolutely there. And I'm sure everybody will agree with that. Really beautiful melodies in there. So how long ago was that one? Was that, like, how many songs have you done with vocals? Because that was a month ago.
Probably 25, 20. Yeah, 20, 25.
I love that.
Yeah. out of, by the way, the other thing I don't know if like you, but it's easier to write sad songs
Oh yeah.
than happy songs.
Yeah.
Give me the minor keys and stuff.
Absolutely.
It's always easier. It's hard to actually. I try to do some more upbeat songs, that they don't come as easy as the melancholy ones and the sunny.
Well, it's hard, because when we're happy, well, this is nobody can speak for everybody. We're all different. We all make music differently. It's like that question when people say, I hate this question. So how do you make music? Is it the lyrics first or the music? And it's like, motherfucker, it's different every time. Like, it just depends, like, what's going on in my world. But the funny thing is, for me personally, when I'm happy, I don't have time to write music. I'm too busy being happy. And probably with somebody and out and about and enjoying the sun. And, when it gets dark and it's quiet and it's lonely and all that stuff and the things aren't going so good, the music's sitting there over there like that long-lost, forgotten girlfriend waiting for you to go over and pour your heart into it. That's just me.
Yeah. Because, if you listen to all my stuff, you'd probably think I'm ready to slash my wrists or something. No. But it's just because it's easier to write. I'm projecting things. There obviously some things are real, some things are made up, and but it's just the fact of writing sadder. Even the music, with the instrumentation and blah blah blah. For me, it seems easier to write when it's sadder than upbeat. I try to get upbeat songs because I have to kind of push myself, but I just find it easy. Not because I'm a sad guy. I'm pretty but it just, that's the way I write, right? It's not because I'm a sad, that I feel bad or I'm down or something. I write more. I guess you would, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm down in the dumps when I'm writing this stuff.
Yeah, and look, I can identify exactly where you're at. I've written many, many sad songs over time. I think the real skill is being able to change the consistently writing sad songs into turning them into a shit sandwich. So where you start off okay, then the sadness, and then ending on a positive. And there's growth. That's where you can turn sad stuff into empowering sad. Because, that's the thing. I think a lot of people these days, we're going to get deep now, we live in a world where depression and anxiety and everything is such a thing that we focus on so much, and that's because it's real, right? We all go through this stuff, and there's a lot of songs about this kind of stuff. But you know what? There is always a light, and I think we've got to this point now with humanity that we forget that there is a light. That everyone focuses so hard on. Well, but I'm this, and it's like, yeah, but eventually you might not be. Like, there's a way out.
Yeah.
Rock bottom normally means there's only one way up,
Yeah.
So,
I was listening to your U40. Is that it, U40? The song you're creating, you're starting up.
utensils.
Utensils. Sorry. Yes. Utensils. That progression because basically it's a happy place and you're bringing it towards a sad place. But you see, if I was doing that, I would start off with the messed up part, and then slowly bring it down to a point where the last song is basically everything's stripped down, and basically the melody is what you started with. That beautiful melody you came up with. For me, that would be the other way around. It's like, okay, you hear all the sounds and all that, and then as every song comes in, you strip away things, and what it comes out at the end is that beautiful melody, like appealing.
Funny you say that, because no. Well, this is, I do think about a lot of things ahead of time. So this is the stepping stone to get to the real thing I want to get to. So there is a part 2 that I want to plan later in the year of the reverse of climbing back out, because most things need a sequel. Because you're on a cliffhanger, you're like, oh my God, this is all ended. So, and you know what? Endings aren't always. Things change after that, and people. Yeah. And even like with that song, I'm going to release that song under my other name, DreadCircus, with vocals. Right. So I'm going to do a completely different version with singing. I'm going to trust me, Michael, I'm going to milk that song for as many versions.
Yeah, I find it very fascinating. To be honest, I mean, I'm going to pay attention. I'm listening to. I'm going to do every segment because I find that very fascinating part. You know, that I like that kind of thinking. You know, like it's very creative.
Well, you know what? People do it all the time with extended dance mixes and, you know, a remix. So why not just take a song and just butcher it each time you I don't know. Again, I think it goes back to that thing that I don't think music has rules. I think once you set rules for yourself, then you're going to be stuck. You're going to get to a point like being in a relationship with somebody that you hate because you've got these rules and nothing's allowed to evolve. But that's only my opinion, you know, and my opinion's just like every other asshole out there. So
I don't follow. I try to just to if something sounds good to me, I'll twist it around. I'm not very linear, you know. I basically if it goes left, goes right, goes upside down. I try to think some things don't always work, but I mean, you know, the sounds are sounds, right? I mean, you know, could be from different kinds of sources and whatever, but as long as it makes sense and there's a melody, I like to insert melodies whenever I can, you know. And it doesn't really matter if it goes straight and then turns left or right and it comes back afterwards or it doesn't. I used to at the beginning I used to write longer songs. I used to write like 5-6 minute ones, and I realized that I was just pushing the stuff too long for nothing. Now I'm really concise, like basically if a long song I got, it's probably 4 minutes. You know, to be honest, and sometimes it's tempting to go for more because I got a great melody. This is great. I want to keep on using it, but I just kind of pull back and I said, move on to the next thing. And I listened afterwards and I'm saying, wow, I could have expanded on that, but at one point you gotta move on. You know, you can't. I mean, I got a lot of things to do before I'm getting old here. You know, it's like I gotta get cracking. You know, I'm gonna be 69 this year, so what the hell, right? If I spend 3 days on a song or 10 days on a song, I'll be dead. You know? So I got to move on, right? Like at the time, the clock is ticking, right?
I love it. No, I've not heard that before. I'm writing a song, but, you know, I should have put in another chorus. No, you know what? Time's ticking. I'm turning 69. I got to. I
got to write something else.
That's the best way to do it. I'm going to use that myself. You know, maybe that'll help me get more stuff out. Let's say hello to the folks who are here today. Midnight Bandit. Now, guys, in the chat, please type something, anything. I know what you're going to type, something, anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Exactly. So just type something so I can find your name and put you up on the chat. Say hello, Trimmer Bear, Midnight Bandit, g'day. Scott Borthwick, Thomas Christ, putting Z's for ZLand. Wolfstone Studios in the house, Jenny Jolivet. I saw Brad Example up there earlier. Barry Glenn, Joe Glenn, Jamie Mallender, dude. So Scott Borthwick, Greg O'Sullivan. Who else do I see here? Michael Thompson, g'day. Russ8889, hello to you. Ali, what's happening? Hugh Caldwell's in the house. Scrolling and looking. Have I got any? I saw Pete Johns. Well, Pete Johns dumped everybody over here. I can't go up any higher, so that's unfortunate for me. There's Leela. Click on the right name. Leela's here. If I've missed you, it's because my memory's terrible and I can't scroll up any further to find out any other names, but I will try and catch you if I see you type in the chat. Thanks for being here, my friends. 69's Joe says is the new 57.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, growing old is not for sissies, right?
It's not. No, it's not.
You start feeling things, you start saying shit, you know, it's like, you know, it's I mean, I'm happy. I'm not, you know, I'm physically okay. It's an ad and I'm enjoying myself since retirement. Best time of my life. But it's a diminishing return, right? You can't put like 10-year plan, a 10-year head, you know, but I'll be dead probably, you know. So
this is funny. Do you think about... Oh, all right. Thank you, Jamie, for becoming a member for 6 months. Look, this is a thing. Let's go down this path. So this week we lost 2 amazing artists in the community, right? And it's been heart-wrenching seeing it happen. Both 38 years old. And I don't think about death very much, right? I'm 51 years old. And I've never thought about that kind of stuff. The only time I did was when I got diagnosed with my health issues, and, you know, they're pretty bad. I still have those. They'll never go away. So that's a thing. But and for that time, I actually wanted to die and was dying because I'd given up all hope. But then, I was able to rekindle my life and find hope again. And since doing that, I don't think about it again, right? But then somebody passes away who's really young, and I've noticed the last few days laying on my couch watching YouTube, I'm going, shit, I know I've done my will and everything, but what would happen? Like, what would go on with the channel, and what would I do? And I don't want to think like that, because as soon as you get into that mindset, it's a negative place. How do you deal with those thoughts? Because you travel a lot and you seem like you're a very active human being. Does that stuff creep in?
Well, it does. I mean, it actually creeps in a bit of my lyrics and music. I notice that I tend to put a lot of references to the end and whatever. But I don't wake up in the morning thinking I'm gonna die. So I realize that as you get older, there's things that, diminishing returns. There's things that you can't do as well anymore, and you can't live forever. So when you're 40, 50, you don't think about it, or even 20, you don't think about live forever. But as you get older, and you start seeing, all my favorite artists in growing up and stuff, they're all passing off, definitely, right?
Yeah.
The day Mick Jagger dies, or Paul McCartney,
we're
Bob
all
Dylan,
doomed.
it's gonna be like a big one.
We're doomed.
Yeah, where it's gonna be so. But I don't wake up in the morning thinking I'm gonna die. But I do know that I'm gonna be realistic. I mean, it's a diminishing return, right? That hill's gone down. So basically, that's why we travel. We try to. Is in no sense planning, I might be going there in 10 years. I mean, 10 years I'd be 79. I could be still okay, but you never know.
I'll start.
I don't.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't wake up every morning thinking, "Oh, this is the end."
No.
I do every day. I try to maximize my day. I figure, okay, every day is done. You can't get this day again. If something has to be, have to wake up early in the morning and try to go to bed as late as night, and try to get something done, and enjoy it, because let's face it, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, right?
I think I'll be concerned when Keith Richards goes.
Yeah.
although I have a feeling, I don't know.
He's already gone.
I love conspiracy theories. I have a feeling that Keith Richards is going to outlast all of us, and he's just going to end up like Yoda. He's going to be 900 years old. He's going to go to an island, and we're going to have to go to him to get wisdom. He's going to end up becoming a god. And
he'll be riffing away someplace with a piece of wood or something, this riffing his chords, and that's it,
It's I don't know how he survives. Anyway, we're getting off topic. So when let's reverse back a bit. So when you're a youngin', you're at school, was music a thing? Did you do music at school? Did you take any lessons, or did you play any instruments or anything like that, or was it just no?
No. I mean, I tried, I tried a piano. I tried this. My brother did guitar and stuff, and I kind of regret that. Although I shouldn't be regretting anything. Regret is not a positive thing. It has no value. But I could have continued, because it probably obviously was in me, the music start, because I've always been creative. Always wanted to be creative, either photoshopping, writing. I'm the creative side. My brother, I have one brother, and he's more the tech guy. He's the he'll build a computer, But as far as music and stuff, he listens to stuff, but he's not that creative. I'm the creative side. I'm the creative guy. But anything I do, when I sign my name, I put an O around my I, right? Instead of just doing a dot.
Right.
It's that it's like. It's like I'm always thinking about things, imagine things, I've always been creative. So for me, I don't know why I didn't continue to learning piano and stuff more than I did, but anyway, it is what it is. Like I said, regret is not a good thing anyway.
It's not.
It serves no purpose. It serves no purpose.
Yeah, you can't. What can you change? You can't do anything about it. I mean, people focus on so much. Hi, Frank Terzo as well. Good to see you, Frank Terzo. Yeah, look, regrets. Anyone in the chat? deal with regrets? You think about it. You think about what could have been. Let us know. Sound off in the chats. I used to do that. I used to dwell on shit that I said all the time because of my mouth kind of says things before my brain says stop. It got me in a lot of trouble. But you know what? If those things didn't happen, then I wouldn't be able to like monitor them now, would I? You know, So. You know, hear these things. These things happen for a reason, and it becomes a bit of a throwaway thing, but it does have substance.
Yeah, looking back, I mean, if you look back at things, you say, what I should have done, whatever. If it's going to be constructive, as if to say, okay, I did it this way, but next time I'm not going to do it this way because it's going to turn out better, that's okay. Just to go back and say, what if I would have done this? What if I would have done that? Or if I did something, it has no, to me, it has no value, right? It's a negative thing, and what's the point? You know, you can't do nothing about it, and so what? You know, but if you could learn from your experience, saying, okay, next time I come to the same situation, I'm not going to do this. That's okay. I mean, you always have to learn from your experiences, but just to say, oh well, what if I would have done this? Whatever. I mean, what's the point of that, right?
The only regrets I have are that, and they're always related to ex-partners, that I wish I had have left them first. That's the only one. But then I think that's a terrible way to think about it, because that's vindictive and that's a horrible thing, because, you know, it is what it is. Let's talk about marriage, because you've been with your partner for a long time, and that deserves... In this world, no, because, man, all right.
Married in 81.
So, and why I'm bringing this up now, we live in a world where, I don't know, it's really hard to meet people these days, because we use apps like Tinder and we swipe left and we look at the aesthetics of somebody's face and their profile, what they say in their short 3-sentence blurb or whatever it is, and we make a judgment on that. And I God forbid, like the dating pool at the moment, I didn't date anybody for, I don't know, 7 years. I was celibate the last 7 years, and I'm finally dating somebody. I didn't meet them on an app. But it seems like these days it's really hard to actually meet people because, well, a lot of it's online. So, and we live in a world where AI is taking over, and most of the time you're probably talking to a bot.
Well, you're looking at one right now, right? No, just kidding. Just kidding.
But to be with somebody that long is commitment, because just like music, relationships don't just happen. Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that goes into them. What do you think has been the magical ingredient that's kept your relationship with your lovely wife sparkling?
Well, we have common interests, and we love doing the same sort of things, but not exactly 100%. So just to leave a lot of spice, you know, like to keep it interesting, you know.
Oh,
but Yeah. But we like to do, for instance, traveling. We like to travel a lot. We like to watch the shows on TV. We tend to have 80% of the stuff we watch is the same. So she has her 20% of stuff she likes, and I have my my sports stuff and whatever. But we have the same interest for that kind of thing, So it sort of makes it interesting. Keeps it, And we met at work actually. In 1980, it's before 81, but we got married in 81, but we actually met at work. And so, it's one of those, I actually was their boss for a while,
Oh, wow. Hey.
Yeah. And but I couldn't give her salaries and stuff, but I was her supervisor. Yeah.
So Dom relationship, kinky stuff going on.
Yeah. But, we would go on weekends, work out overtime, right?
Right.
But we would both go in overtime, right? Do our work and go for a movie in a restaurant afterwards, right? And the company was happy because they were getting 2 overtimes for nothing. People working on Saturdays, right? And at the same time, I didn't have to justify I'm out on working overtime because she's doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So she didn't have to wonder where I was working overtime. How come you're working overtime? Well, she's with me, So So we had we have the same sort of work ethics and blah blah blah. So anyway, so that worked out.
So, all right, is she a fan?
Okay, here we go.
No. Is she a fan?
Go
Of
ahead.
Is she a fan of your music?
Yes.
Does she throw Does she hear your new song and throw her knickers up on the stage? And
No. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. I did that once actually.
Hang on.
Yeah. We were on a cruise. Can I? We were on a cruise, and there was a show on stage, and the guy was a Tom Jones. He was a Welsh singer, and he sang a lot. He sang like Tom Jones, but he wasn't an imitator. So at one point, the people were asking him, can you do Tom Jones song? And he said, no, I don't want to be known as an imitator. Once I'm in that box, I'm done with. But eventually, he came back for another show at the end of the cruise. But I told my wife, I said, we were in a, he says, if he does come back and if he does a Tom Jones song, I'm going to throw him a underwear on stage. So I could, wipe and stuff. So basically, we're sitting down all dressed up and stuff. I'm in the second row, and I got our underwear in my jacket. And he comes up, he says, okay, I've been asked a lot to do a Tom Jones song, and I will. So he starts singing, I think it was Delilah or something. And I actually tossed the underwear. I missed the guys in front of me. He's here, it went on stage right in front of him. He stopped. He picked it up and he wiped himself with it. Then he tossed it in the back, our underwear, right? And then the band leader comes down, he puts it on his head. It's like,
oh my Lord.
We never got it back after.
Wow.
So that wasn't because I said, like, if he's going to sing a Tom Jones song, people used to send, used to throw his knickers and used to kind of wipe his head. So that was it. That was, that wasn't yeah. Now, and I wasn't even drunk,
my brain now goes to, I wonder where they are now. I wonder if that drummer's got, what if he's wearing them right now?
With the band leader, actually, he put him on his head. It's like his underwear. It's like, anyway, so that was, whether I would do it today is another story, but I mean, I wasn't drunk or anything. I just felt like, okay. And I missed the guy's here. I could have cut his head or something, That would have been embarrassing in front of me. The guy's got underwear on his head, right? But I'm sorry, sir. Yeah.
You Caldwell.
And you thought cruises are boring, right?
No, I don't think cruises are boring. The cruises are crazy. Look at Hugh Caldwell's comment here. It's not unusual. This show has divulged as always down the toilet, which it should.
I'm sorry.
No. That's like the brand here. That's the brand. Cruises are very unique experiences. I've been on a couple of them. There's been some wild people on there. It's always like, what do you find? The mix of people. I've been on a cruise where there was a lot of young people on there and a lot of really old people at the same time.
Yeah.
And at night time, the young people were out vomiting everywhere, destroying the place. Yeah. And in the daytime, it was like I was walking around a funeral. So it was very strange. But
well, that's funny when you say that, because, you look around, I'm saying, like, look at all these old people. Then my wife says, well, we are old. It's like, it's us. It's
You're right.
Like, I'm always looking at, but it's true. Like right now we're on when we do our cruises, we go to it, we attend this, it's on All America. There's a Rolling Stone Lounge. So they do tribute like a band, and actually they're quite good. They're not just a karaoke band, and they're quite good. And they do like 3 shows a night, and we actually stay from the first show at 7:45, and the last show is at 11 something. We stay to the end, and they do a wide range of songs and stuff. They could do Black Sabbath, they could do Led Zeppelin, they do everything in between. And we basically, when we do our cruises right now, based on that cruise line, we basically, like I said, get there at 7 something, and then get out of there at 11 something, 11:30, and get up at 6 o'clock in the next morning. So we're into that music thingamajig. So just the time just flies, and we love it. We sit in the front chair, like the front table, and we just have a few drinks and we listen to that music. We love it. It's nostalgic, all that stuff. And it's not just a they play it, but not straight up. They'll do twists to it. They'll they'll do the little slant on it, but the songs are recognizable. But like I said, they need to dance, and so we have a good time. So that's our new shtick right now. Is especially on that particular cruise line that has that particular setup for music. So we do cruises, and we also like to visit cities. Like London is. I visited London one time. It was like we went there 3 times a year. London is my favorite city. One of my favorite cities, and we stay in Chelsea, and same B&B for the last 10 years now, and so it's. I find London fascinating. Every time you go, there's always something to see. You never get bored. There's always something go on. Either you're, some new exhibition, some new part of town you haven't seen yet. It's such a vast, I know. Have you been to London?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, I've been once, and I really want to go back again. I was only there for a short time to play some shows, and I didn't get it. When you're only there for a very small time, you get into the airport. You're there for. And then you play your shows, and then you kind of got to go. It sucked, but you try and fit in as much as you can. And yeah, there is so much. I mean, the one thing, the takeaway when I was there, I mean, the cost of living was crazy, and this was 15 years ago, probably a bit longer than that. I was there. I can only imagine it now, but it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. I would love to.
We're lucky. Back. Yeah, we're lucky. We had found a B&B in Chelsea, a very posh neighborhood, but the price was right. Nice lady. We became friends with her, and so basically, it's like a home. There's only like 3 rooms, and but it's in the nice part of town, and it's not, you don't feel like a tourist. And because of that, we were able to go more often. Otherwise, because it's true, the hotel prices are pretty expensive there. So, and we have Canadian dollars with the pound. It's like almost 2 for 1. Yep. So you have to be mindful of that. But I mean, like again,
we're probably equal rate of dollar. Yeah. Canada and Australia is very similar at the moment, which is terrible. We're at our halfway point. We're going to run our ad, which we do on the show every day, but. I do apologize for that. That code keeps popping up every now and again. So I guess if you're watching on live or on the replay, you need to pause that and go back and maybe find the right QR code to find the next clue to find out what album I'm releasing soon. It's up to you. I'm not telling you what's going on. Anyway, we need to run our ad every day on the show. We run an ad halfway through because it pays the bills. You may or may not get an ad. If you'd like to avoid the ad, you can become a YouTube Premium subscriber or just skip, and we'll wait for you to come back. And the ad has been run. So while we're waiting for those who may have got an ad sent to them, let's just quickly run over what's coming up, because last night I dropped a brand new tutorial. So if you didn't know, the show's changed a bit now. The channel's changed. There's more tutorials that are pre-recorded and dropped. And last night I had the pleasure to drop on the channel this baby right here. Boom. Moon Echo by Audio Thing. Please go and check it out. I spent a lot of time working on this tutorial. The music that's in it is by the Delicate Giants and put through this app, and I did a whole demonstration and explained about this app. It's a crazy app. It's actually I didn't know anything about this whole moon bouncing, it's called, where you send a radio wave up to the moon and the moon reflects it back to another satellite down on the ground. I've never heard anything about this in the 1940s, and this technology still exists here today. So go and check out that video if you would like to. It would help me seriously. I put a lot of work into it. Coming up on the weekend too, we are doing the opening hour thrash metal special. So if you are into 80s and 90s thrash metal, come along and join me, because Pete's doing punk after me. I don't know what Thomas is doing yet. I haven't checked, but come and check out this, because it'll be all your favorite thrash metal songs. Let's play another track, and I'm going to play from the list right now, What Have I Done? Because we've been talking about that. I'm doing the right thing. Yeah, we're all good. So let's play this track. We'll be back in a moment, folks. Chill, relax, kick back, enjoy the track. It's about 3.5 minutes long. And let's ja.
Life is full of choices you always need to make. In the twilight hours, with your life at stake, you think you're smarter than you think. But now your head is clouded by drink. What have I done? What have I done? Oh, my love, what have I done? I wish for success, but prayed for rain, for some heavenly tears to wash away the pain. If truth be told, it was all a bloody mess, but it was too late in the game even to confess. What have I done? What have I done? Oh, my love, what have I done? Now that it's over, the righteous have been wronged. You think of escape to a place you once belonged. But nothing is easy as you run up that hill, 'cause they shoot with intent, they shoot to kill. What have I done? What have I done? Oh, my love, what have I done?
Dude, that is beautiful. That is really beautiful. Like, I'm so happy to hear you singing and adding your voice to it. For the longest time, I remember, like, we have our little gang. We call it, well, our club's called a gang, but we chat every day. You know, it's good to have a bunch of close friends that you talk music to, and that's like Russ and Leela and Brad and Ivan Idea and Kurt. We kind of hang out and we talk about music all the time. And you know, you've come up in the mix as well, the way you make music and and seeing your taking the step to sing. Look, what I'm trying to say is I love seeing people evolve. I hate seeing people stay in one place and just get comfortable. And it's just a beautiful thing. As I said, it's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful, it makes me want to cry.
Oh.
Does it? Music does that to me. Like, and that was really beautiful. It was really beautiful. So I want to encourage you as much as possible. Keep singing. Keep going. I love it. I love being bold and changing direction and growing. And it's just been a pleasure to watch that with your music. Because I think sometimes as artists, we feel like we can only go so far, and you kind of want to change things up and want to express yourself more. And instrumentals can only go so far. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and I wanted to introduce lyrics, to the mix too. So that's a part of the creative process. The itch, the fact of, I like to write things. I like to come out with, cute lines, and at the same time, by singing, it's another part of me that's going out there. So it's the full mix, right? So that's why evolving from the music, it took a while to get, but I was like writing lyrics and stuff, but I was never actually putting it to music. So I think that's important to kind of go on to the next step. I don't do everything with lyrics. I don't do everything with singing. I still do a lot of music, instrumentals, but by adding more and more singing, and it just makes it more interesting. It's true, you can only go so far with instrumentals.
Yeah, totally. Now I'm trying to go back here through YouTube, but why is YouTube not playing nice with me? It's not playing nice. We'll give it a second to catch up. I love this. Look at YouTube. The iOS app for YouTube is terrible. It's load the thumbnails. What is going on? But your YouTube,
it's all great.
I know.
It's all great.
Your YouTube has been around for 17. This is 17. Here we go. So we've finally caught up. 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Now I've gone right back to the beginning. And look at all this stuff. So you got Amsterdam, Belgium, Prague, Berlin, St. Petersburg, Russia. Dude, I hate to say it. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. Have you covered the entire world?
No, actually, Asia is not some place I've been, or Australia, or New Zealand.
Wow, what are you doing, man?
We're going to Japan in March. So.
Oh, you'll love it. Japan is amazing. It is so amazing. So amazing.
We're trying to get to Australia or New Zealand, but it's also like I'm a 6'3", right? So I need to get 17 hours in a plane. I need to get premium economy or business, and it's like really expensive. We're talking, and it's a long flight. So the Japan won't be long enough as it is. We're trying to get to Australia and New Zealand, but it's a long way to go.
Yeah, but worth it. Trust me. I've done America back and forward twice, and it was 19 hours. But God, I want to live in America. I'd love to live in America. I love it so much. But Japan's amazing. Japan is just a total different experience. You'll never experience anything like it anywhere else in the world. It's so unique. The just the way men and women act towards each other, and it's a very interesting place. But I'm surprised you haven't been to Australia. Hopefully, you've been watching my Walk With Me series, and you're seeing all that cool stuff that we've got here.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ever come
eventually.
Here.
Yeah. We're trying to, we've done a lot of Europe. Russia was fascinating. Now, of course, Russia you can't go anymore, but Russia we were there 4 or 5 times, and it's really a really fascinating place. We love the history. We love everything about it. I mean, it's a sad thing that we can't visit. It's Yeah,
I'd definitely love to go there and check out that. I've been close to there, but haven't actually been to Russia, and I guess I've missed my chance, haven't I? Because the world is cray at the moment, unfortunately. But so it looks like going through here, we're still 14 years ago, and then all of a sudden you've been to London War Museums and all this stuff. So folks,
London, yeah.
If you haven't gone back and had a look through Michael's stuff, there is so much good stuff here. And I'm not saying once it gets to the music, it all changes. Barcelona, Germany, it's so many places. And all of a sudden you get to this and it's like, pour a little sunshine sampler. What? And then it's all music. Music. So what happened at this point? What happened right here that created this little flurry of music? How did you get to the YouTube channel going to music. GarageBand.
GarageBand.
And was it on iOS or desktop?
Yes, iOS.
Wow.
Yeah. That was it. And then Pete, listening to it, that was the watershed moment. Yeah. I found an instrument I could actually use to create music and stuff. And at first it was sort of, interesting, and I got, dabbled into it and stuff. But, when I'm creating stuff, I could spend hours. Time doesn't really, sometimes you wonder, like you're doing things, you're redoing things, and I could spend hours upon hours writing, creating music. And once I had that GarageBand thing, it's then Pete, listening to this stuff and learning more about the how to use it, and then kind of moved on from there, sort of thing. That was it. That was it. I mean, then I started to create the stuff. Then I started to say, like I said before, I got all this material for traveling stuff. Let's start, putting music to it, and at the same time, let's start creating stuff and creating albums, blah blah blah. It's like.
And Thomas writes here, from travelogue to music, and it's funny because I'm going from music to travelogue. So,
yeah,
I mean, I love traveling now and taking video and putting stuff together. It's just so exciting, and working it into music. It's such an interesting thing. Like, I mean, when you are creative, and then you've got some experience with photography and video, getting the music to match up with all that stuff, it's even more exciting than putting together a song, because those transitions, look, I sound like a geek right now, but it does get my juices flowing when a transition of a part of a song cuts beautifully in.
I find right now when I'm traveling is that I'll look at opportunities. I'll look at things and saying, "Oh, that'd be good for music." Like that'd be good for video. I'll the waves and stuff. There's certain images and stuff. I'm thinking now, like when visiting, tourist, cities and stuff. Oh, this would be a great, would make a great video, a music video. And so I'm in the day. The fortunate thing is a lot of traveling was done, and I had cameras and stuff, but I was taking very short films, like I wasn't really into it. I was just taking it, but I was taking more pictures and stuff, and I regret that a bit. I don't want to use the regret, but now I'm more focused on, even I'm only using my basically iPhone, but I'm taking videos and then coming home, and then I look at it and say, okay, I could probably, put some music to this, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's the fun part too. And also I have a website, travel website. In the day, like you would take pictures and show them around once, and then put them in a box, and then the digital stuff you would show it maybe, and then it would go in your in the cloud. But I decided at one point to create a website where I post all these pictures with comments and stuff. And so that my brother who lives in Carlsbad, he could look at my video and my pictures of my travel stuff without having to be here, right? And anybody could look at it. So I got it on WordPress, and it's a very easy website. So I've been putting that in. I put my video, I put music. The music that any video I put I actually put it on YouTube, and I actually download the YouTube on the WordPress to avoid eating up too much space.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
So that's my way of doing it. So basically, you have a YouTube thing, and it shows, for instance, Berlin or whatever picture I've taken, or videos I've taken. So that's my way. Also, I Photoshop them too. I like to Photoshop stuff. I like to play around with them a bit. That's again my creative side. I can't just take a picture and say, okay, let's just post it. I have to kind of tweak it sometimes, make sure my wife always looks good. Just any little defect, I kind of clean up and stuff. I show it to her. It says, "Are you okay with it?" She says, "Yes, dear," and I post it, right?
You know where your bread's buttered.
Yes, and I also get rid of people in the back. So once she was watching a picture saying, "How come there's nobody there?" So why? I wipe them all off, right? So once I did that, and the problem was that there was a reflection on a storefront, and you saw the reflection of the people, but the people weren't there anymore. I forgot to take it off from the reflections.
All right.
So that was my mistake. but it was kind of a weird. Actually, wasn't a bad picture because it was like you see the people in the mirror in the screen and the on the shop store window, but you don't see them beyond the person, so it's behind her. So it's like kind of weird. Actually, it came out to be actually not a bad picture in a weird way. You know?
One day I'm going to release the footage because I keep all the offcuts of the walk with me. I can't tell you how many times, Michael, I'm standing here. I've got my camera. So this is the camera that I use. This is what I'm using. And I'll have this shot lined up where I'm filming over here and then I spin the camera around so I'm there in the background. And then two people walk into the shot while I'm doing it. And I fully just go, yeah, I'm not like fucking filming, am I? Like, I just yell it out. I'm so stupid. And, oh, man, people just, it's almost like they see you doing it and go, oh, well, I might just like step right in there, won't I? It's like, I wait sometimes. There are sometimes like you'll see a shot where probably people are thinking, geez, there's not many people in that shot. I've literally had to wait 15 minutes for everybody to clear off and then go, all right, we good? All right, let's film the shot. Because I try to, it's not because I don't want people in the shot. I try to respect people. Because people don't want to be on camera. There's a lot of people out there who don't want to be on camera and have their face somewhere, you know?
It's true. A video is harder to actually, wipe off things.
Yes,
pictures,
incredibly.
if I take pictures and there's somebody's face, I mean, I'm only putting out, it's still on the web, right?
Yeah.
WordPress, I mean, so I make sure that if there's a face that I can't get rid of, I kind of like, fade it a bit or kind of, make sure that it's not recognizable because although I don't have a big following in this thing, but it's still on the web. It's still on the web. So I make sure that if there's a license plate, I don't I try to get rid of too. So I'm mindful of that because it's true. I have to respect some people don't want to be seen, and if you put it online, then guess what? You might see it, right? Somebody might see something.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like when I go to businesses and stuff, I always go in first. Like, you don't see this. I go in first, talk to the owners and make sure it's okay to film, and then guarantee I'm not going to film anybody in there. There was one shot in one of the videos where it actually I had to wait around for an hour and 10 minutes for the people who were in there who actually came in just as I started to film and got permission. These people came in just as I started, and they ended up buying a whole bunch of stuff worth thousands of dollars. So I left and just waited out there, went and got a coffee and just sat there waiting for these people because I don't want to ruin this sale this guy's got in his business.
Right. Yeah,
and then they finally leave and he's like, oh, thank you so much for leaving. They bought like $8,000 worth of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm not going to interfere in your business. And he was so happy about that. He said, I'm going to go outside the business now. I'm going to lock the door and leave you inside my business alone to film. And I'm going, what? You trust me to go in your business and do that? He goes, you just like waited and gave me respect. He goes, you're not going to steal anything. I know what, your intentions. So, I guess you do the right thing by people. They do the right thing back is what I'm trying to get to. Now, when you first, do you remember the first song you sent into Pete Johns for YML? I don't.
No. Yeah.
But all right, what about the feeling? Like, were you nervous when you sent in your first song?
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, the community is very nice. It's a very I didn't feel like I was going to get hammered or anything, and it's and that's I felt comfortable. But I was still nervous a little bit. But once you do it, then it's like becomes, I've been sending a song to for the last 4 years and every week.
Yeah, I know.
Every week for 4 years. So it's like, I got a bunch of songs. So I kind of try to pick, sometimes I would say a fast one, slow one, a romantic one, more, try to change it around. But I try to always send something every week. I mean, it's like 4 years now. It's like,
Pete says, oh, I don't even remember. We need to check the archives. Man, I don't remember what I did yesterday. So whatever.
Yeah.
Old Alzheimer's coming in now. But it is an exciting thing. I think no matter where you present your music, there is that, what are people going to think? But we do have really positive communities here. I mean, there are
Yes.
some places you post music. Like just the other day in one of the Facebook groups, I put up put up the thumbnail for my new changes to the channel, and as soon as the thumbnail went up, the first post on there was a guy who wrote, I don't like the thumbnail. You've got a stupid face, so I won't be watching. And I was like, man, did you think about that? What, like, who writes that kind of shit? Like, don't tell me I've got a stupid face. I already know that. God damn.
Yeah.
So, some people just don't think. But I think, these shows like what Pete's been doing has given a lot of people opportunities to put their music out there. And it is a big thing for a lot of people to put their music out for the first time because you're nervous, this is your heart and soul. You put so much energy into it.
Yeah, it's not like a career thing. It's not like it's just, it's a part-time, it's like an enjoyment to create music and stuff. I have no ambitions or nothing, like it's just a fun thing to do. And that's it. That's all I'm taking it for. It's like I'm not, I just try to evolve and try to work, like I said, scratch my creative itch. And that's basically it. And I enjoy it. And besides, it's great music to when you listen to the shows and stuff, it's some friggin' good music. I mean, amazingly good music. I know people will say that during their shows and stuff. But it's true. I mean, I've been listening to a lot of shows, and the level of the quality of the music is outstanding. I mean, really good.
Yeah, it's a testament to that community that Pete has nurtured because, the channel is primarily about learning and getting better and putting your best music out there. And that's, and, he talked about it today on his show he did before his premiere, his podcast today, about, the negative comments and the insecurities that we have about this stuff because, it creeps in no matter what. Even if everybody's telling you you're great, you still have those niggling things. But it does help, I think, to have, channels, hopefully, that are inspiring you to grow. I mean, there's nothing worse than spinning wheels in sand because your creative juices don't move. You don't learn anything. And it has been a testament, because I've been at YML since day one. And I don't know if you know this, Michael, but I sat down with Pete. And, well, I don't think we're face to face, but Pete was like saying to me, I'm thinking of doing a show where I play people's music. And I was like, you know what, man, you better be committed to that because musicians are narcissists. And once you start doing that, they're going to want you to do that every week. And here we are, years later, and it's still happening. So, it's been a great thing and to watch people's music get better and better has been fantastic. Yeah, you really have seen it,
Yeah. Same thing with Tom. I mean, Tom,
yes,
on his show, it's like the thing with Tom is that he plays the entire thingamajig. So, it's more, like you do a video, and yes, Pete says, well, go to the video and listen to the rest of it. But with Tom, it's basically everything. Although his show's a little longer, as I don't really make it up to the end because it's like 5 hours is a long time for an old guy. But the music, the quality of the music is very good. And even on this show is like, wow. I mean, it's I mean, just as good as the stuff you listen to anywhere. I mean, to be honest, and the diversity of the music.
Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, I'm the announcement I made on my channel this week. Was it this week? Man, this week's been a blur. I always said I wasn't going to do a show where I play people's music, but that has changed. And so I think kicking off next month will be the first that hasn't got a title yet. But the bait and switch is we won't be playing music from our community. I'm going to be trawling places like Bandcamp and reaching out to artists myself who aren't in this community, trying to bring new people in. So if you want to go and hear your own music, there's plenty of shows that do that. But hopefully everybody wants to come and support some new people, hopefully coming in. And during the show that I do once a month, I'll be advertising Thomas and Pete and Metalhead Hippie to try and get them. The reason I want to do it is to bring new people in to go to the other channels. It's not for my channel, it's for everybody else. Because if we just continue in our own little cylinder, we're just playing to each other. and I want to hopefully bring some new people in. So hopefully people are going to enjoy that and come and support new artists, because that's the whole deal. But you won't hear your music. It's going to be their music live, because there's enough of that already. Let's get into a premiere, because you've got 2 premieres today that we're playing here on the first one is called Plain Jane. Tell us about this before we play it, Michael.
It's a story about a woman, a lady called Plain Jane, but it's a twisted story. It's a little dark, So there's a narrative. If you follow the story, it winds up. Some of these stories that I do, some of these lyrics that I do, is little short stories. It doesn't always seem that way, but if you pay attention to the lyrics, there's a narrative that goes along, and it winds up.
Awesome. Let's play it. This is Plain Jane premiere here on the show. Let's right now. Boom.
Jane was plain, or so they said. Didn't like being tied up, except in bed. She worked all hours on a factory floor, making pretty things that you wore. Dreamed in color, but lived in black and white. The beautiful life just out of sight. She watched and learned, ate and drank, nourished her wisdom before it sank. Jane met a lawyer, a poet of sorts, who dazzled her with words from the lower courts. He saw her as willing to explore the unknown, from the lies he had created to the seeds he had sown. Then the story took a turn, as it soon came to pass that their whirlwind romance was not meant to last. The using me line was proclaimed, denying everything was explained. Then the push that became a shove, a show of affection without love. Things were broken that cannot be repaired. The chorus is sorry that nobody cared. The judge understood as Jane stared him down, but the law was the law. That's how the world goes round. Nothing is real if you pretend. Nothing makes sense until the end.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Premiere right there. You really have a knack of writing some wonderful words.
Thank you.
Really, really nice stuff. I think I'm really enjoying the new stuff. I think it adds so much more depth to your music. I'm just going to keep driving that home. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it. So you are on fire at the moment. Thank you for sharing that as a premiere. Let's talk about, Scott Boswick says that was dark. I love the darkness, man. I love it. I do love the darkness. Let's talk about how you make music. So GarageBand, you open up GarageBand. How would you begin constructing a song in GarageBand? What do you use? Are you using virtual instruments? Are you using a whole bunch of the amazing samples and stuff that they give you, the Apple loops? How do you construct stuff?
Well, I'll use everything. I mean, I like drums and bass. Drums are virtual stuff. Bass, I'll try to do my own sometimes. And then, the melodies, I'll use my keyboard and, use sampling once in a while. Sometimes like the piano parts, if there's, a faster piano part, I'll actually do it slowly and then speed it up, because, to get a better sound to it. But I use everything I can. I mean, I don't play guitar. I don't play piano, or other instruments. So I try to use what's there, and I'll if it's a sample, if I have to use a sample for something in particular, I'll change the key, the speed. I'll try to. I also add some accent to it with another virtual instrument. Just to kind of change it a bit. But apart from that, basically that's it. I try to use every tool in the box to create the new music. And that's basically the short answer and the long answer.
I love that. So you've been using GarageBand the whole time, and this question's not like judging or anything like that. Have you come up with any limitations? Using it for so long, have you hit any brick walls with anything? Have you even thought of moving to Logic, or is there anything like that going on, or are you really comfortable as it is? Because there's no wrong answer. That's the thing. But what are some of the limitations you may have come across with GarageBand as well?
I also use what do you call it? I got to look at my BandLab.
Oh wow!
On my Windows, as a and sometimes what I'll do one and I'll transfer it to the other, and try to mix it up because I have more more apps, more things to work on, and the limitations to a certain point. I mean, I'd love to be able to to say although I create, because even sometimes I'll change the notes of the file, and if I can change it around a bit and just have a different swing to it, tone to it. But some of the limitations, like like the drums basically everything is virtual. It's like,
of course,
but you have to find the right one and put it in the right place, not just simple of just sticking it on and moving on. So, and I try to experiment with the kind of drums. I also put effects to it, and that sometimes all the songs will start with drum, bass, and then I'll start putting some keyboards to it. Try to get a melody, and once I get that going, then I move on, and special effects, this and that I'll add on, if I can. Sometimes it's nice to leave some air to the songs. A lot of, at the beginning, I was tending to put a lot of instruments, a lot of sounds. Try to, but it's probably not a bad idea to leave some space. And that's basically it. Like try to,
It's harder than what you think, because I'm guilty of it. I've been guilty of it for a long time. I'm still guilty of it. You just run with it. You start putting more and more in there. But the real magic of a song is being able to identify what can go out, what to take away, and it's that magic of taking stuff away that gives a breath that helps people get into it. I mean, unless you're trying to be a Frank Zappa band, we answered this, I think, at the beginning. So you're using iOS, aren't you? Yep.
Yes.
So, this show's called How to App on iOS. Do you have a problem with apps? Are you a collector? Do you buy a lot of apps?
Yeah, no. Yeah. At one point, you have to, like some apps you use a couple of times, and then it's like it goes in a bin someplace, and then you start looking and say, okay, once in a while you say, oh, I got this app, I could use that, be a great sound, blah blah blah. But to be honest, it's I try to keep. There's the main ones, the ones that I'm going to use a lot, that has some value to the music part, and sometimes you like to try some. Actually, I downloaded that Moon, the Moon one there. I was listening to your show and I downloaded it, and it's like, whoa, I did something already. And I was like, weird sound, but would I use it on every song? No. It's one of these not gimmicky thing, but it sounds good, but there's a place and the time and place for that,
Yeah, for sure.
But it's good to have, right?
Yeah,
but it's nice. It's a neat thing. I didn't know the story. That was a fascinating story, actually. It's like I didn't know the freaking thing was beaming things to the moon and stuff.
I know.
I mean, I was stunned by that. That was a very good. It's like, wow, okay.
I was blown away because the app comes out. Whenever Heinbach releases an app, I'm like all over it, like a fly on shit.
Right.
And then I went over to his channel and watched his mini documentary about this thing and was like, what?
Yeah.
Because you don't think, like, you automatically assume that we just created satellites, because we had, like, all right, so we've got telephones. Before that, you would have had Morse code, then we've got the telegraph, and then the telephone, and then you kind of think, all right, so then we eventually got to satellites. Who knew that back in the 40s they used ground satellites to send messages to the moon, and they use the moon to reflect it back. I was just blown away by that. And to go and capture that inside an app, the most interesting thing about that app for me was that you can press a button and it pings NASA to find out the exact location of the moon. What the fuck? We live in great times.
I know you do a lot of obviously you do apps and stuff, and it's all nice stuff, but this one was special because of the story behind it. It was like really off the wall. It's like a little, I never heard of that before ever. And it's like you say, the pinging thing is like weird.
and what was hard, Michael, like I released that video last night, and half of the video is me explaining the story. And then I thought, hang on, what am I doing? I started doing pre-recorded tutorials to cut the time down, but the story was too good to not tell, and then I used Russ's music to kind of tell the story about the moon and stuff. And I'm just hoping people don't watch it and go, oh, get to the tutorial, because the story needs to be told so you understand. But, you can't please everyone ultimately.
No, but I was listening to it and saying, wow, where is this going? It's like, wow, okay, I know it's a new thingamajig, but wow, what a story. I said, in fact, that part was just as important as actually, and it got me to actually downloaded it, So
Good.
As soon as it was done, I downloaded it and I started to play with it. So it's fascinating stuff.
I'm glad. So do you have handy maybe 5 apps that you use consistently that bring you pleasure? And I'll bring them up on the screen as you tell me, because I have no idea what they are until now.
Numa Player.
Numa Player. Yes, that's a great app, isn't it? That's often forgotten, that one.
Yeah, for keyboards and stuff, and it's really good.
It's free
I
too.
love that one.
Free.
Yes.
And it has all these instruments in it, pianos and all this stuff. It is just, Pete's done a video on it. I've done a video on this one. It's got pianos, clavs, strings, pads, acoustic pianos, electric pianos. There's so much in there, and it's absolutely $0. So if you don't have this one, go grab it.
Yes. The Swam trumpet, Swam products, like, I know it's a little expensive, but the orange, I mean, the first one you saw with the penguins, that was me playing, virtually, the trumpet. I mean, I know it's a virtual thing, but the sound is so good.
Yeah, look, they are expensive, these things, but there's a whole suite of them. Let's have a look at them. So if you don't know about these, they're a bit pricey. I've got all of them, thankfully, because I do the show, so they send them to me, thankfully. But, you've got double basses, violas, violins, cellos, and these are modeled, so they're not real samples. They only take about, what is it? It's like 20 gigabytes, 77 megabytes. So not even, not even 100 meg, not even a song. And, they all sound absolutely beautiful. But, again, the thing to do, I think, is to look through the list, find the one that you're going to use the most and grab that. Be selective. Because, again, I say this on the channel, you don't need them all. You don't need them all, just the ones you're going to use. What else you got in that list there for me?
Riffler.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you need the riff sometimes, so it's a way of creating interesting riffs. Just to kind of.
Why can't I find it?
Because there's also a updated, there's another version of it too, right?
Let me do a quick search this way. Where are we? Riffler. For some reason, I'm not finding it. But Riffler is awesome. So if you're not a guitarist, this is the way to go, because this will help you pop out some great guitar stuff. Oh, because it's double F. That's why. Because I'm an idiot, aren't I? What a fool. What a fool. There we go. So, there's two versions of Riffler. This is the riff generator, so more for heavier stuff. And then they dropped the other one, which is more for acoustic kind of stuff, Riffler Flow. Right. Yeah, they're both wicked apps. What else you got for us?
Audio Kit Synth 1.
Oh, yeah.
There's a load of stuff in there.
We got Digital DS1, Synth 1.
It's a free one, too.
Yep, there it is there.
That is massive. That is a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, this thing's been around for ages. And Audio Kit make great apps. They've kind of replaced this these days with a more modern version of it. But, this thing still works great. And look at all the awards it's won. It's won so many awards. Audio Kit just continue to put out great apps. So, if you're looking for new sounds, you're on GarageBand and, you're not finding the sound you want, you will find crap tons of sounds in this one for $0. What else you got?
Another Audio Kit one, LE05 Digitalism 2000.
Digitalism, I covered this as well ages ago. Another free one.
That's a good one. And that one is, and not very heavy either, I think. Yeah.
Some beautiful sounds in 168 megabytes. Another beautiful app with heaps of sounds. All right, so we've covered some stuff there. Now, the other thing is, so while we were doing this show, when I got you to send me links, you didn't send me a link saying you got music on Spotify.
Oh, I do. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, but like I said, it's the Spotify thing is more of a vanity thing. It's like, to be honest.
One of my last questions here is: Have you considered releasing music on a streaming service? And I saw Tom. Thankfully, Thomas, the greatest moderator of all time, found it and put up the Song Whip link. So I will put that in the description after the show. So people can go, because go and stream and all that kind of stuff. Because I
only got 100 and something, 200 songs there. It's like,
wow,
it's true.
I can't believe you didn't send me that. That's awesome.
I know. You see, I'm so like I said, it's fun actually, the Spotify stuff, because when I do gymming, at the gym and stuff, I'll put my stuff with download other music, and when they play together, it's really interesting. The sound, the quality is not too bad. It's like and I'm saying, whoa, this is interesting. I just heard Aerosmith, and then I'm listening to my stuff. It's just fun.
That's one of the reasons I talk about and encourage people to release stuff, because obviously I've got a distro kid, they sponsor this channel and Pete's channel and stuff, and I just I know, I think most of us know, we're comfortable in our own skins enough to know, we're not going to make a lot of money from this or make it big.
No.
But the one pleasure I do get, and I think this is a feature, I don't care what anybody says, because the benefit is I get to open up Apple Music at any time of the day if I'm feeling low, and I can click on my music and then do a search in the same app and find Lady Gaga and go,
yeah,
my music's right next to Lady Gaga. Whatever.
Yeah, I know.
That's a small thing that makes me happy. Small
I
things.
do a mixtape of my stuff. I do a mixtape. The same thing I would do for any other artist. My best ones. And I go, I travel, I listen to it, and I'm to be honest, because I've done a lot of music in time. And what happens is that you forget things you've done.
Yes.
6 months ago, because you moved on to the next thing. I'm listening to this, like, shit, this is good. I mean, my own opinion, but this is good. But I moved on, and it's like this is like in the past, and I'm listening to it. That's why it's not a bad idea to listen to the older stuff, because, like I said, I move on so fast that it's sometimes I forget that I sometimes look back as I'm, when I get a lyric, I say, oh, maybe I got a good music for that lyric, right? And I'll listen to it, and that's the exercise of going back in the catalog and listening to it. But unfortunately, I'm moving ahead, so I forget that there's some nice stuff there. Some of the stuff is okay. Some of the stuff is like, whoa, this is good. But it's 3 months, 4 months is way too too far in the past now. Right? Just moved on.
There was a time in my music career, and this one joker I listened to. Sometimes all it takes is one joker to ruin the way you think about your own music. And I remember I was in this band. We put out an album, we're in the car, and this one joker we hardly knew. He's a friend of someone in the band. He's in the car, and I put on our music, and he was in the car going, "You listen to your own music? What a wanker!" And I guess, because I was younger and stupider, that's not even a word, but I took that to heart, and I stopped listening to my own music because I thought that it was conceited, and I came off like an asshole for doing it. And then years later, I was like, no, hang on a minute. It had this realization, no, that guy was the asshole, because like if you don't enjoy your own music, how is anybody else going to enjoy it? Like, you should listen to your own music, and not only, I think, when you watch hopefully shows like this channel and Pete's and shows that are trying to help you get better and learn things, you can learn a hell of a lot by going back to listen to your own music.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I listen sometimes, like I said, and I don't want to be like conceited, but I'm saying, wow, this is good. Some of the stuff is okay. You see what you've evolved, but some of the stuff is, wow, this is like, wow, but I'd forgotten about it, so it's, it is what it is. So it's not a bad idea to, to go back and to listen to stuff. So I have mixtapes of, faster cuts, slower cuts, more ambient stuff. And, so I play around with it, and it's a good way of keeping him alive, because, I mean, you've created it. So like you say, if you don't like what you've done, there's a problem. I mean, I create it, and if I like it, I mean, if you don't like it, that's too bad. But if you don't like it, if you're producing it, I don't quite understand what's happening.
Yeah, take up lawn bowls. There's definitely a difference between, being conceited about your music, being arrogant and up yourself, compared to being proud.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being proud of something you do, but people, people out there, they just kind of like, hang on a minute, you're having a bit too much fun being proud of what you're doing, and I'm here to tell you that you're shit. And it's like, you know what, piss off. Really, there's no time for that kind of stuff. All right, we are going to wrap up this show. And we've got another premiere to close the show, folks. I want to thank everybody for hanging out today and filling the chat with all your wonderful comments. You guys rock. And, always, look, these shows aren't about me. So you coming along in the chat and being here, on my channel isn't about me. I'm glad you're here for Michael to support the artist. That's what these shows are about. And that's what I'll always be about, to support the artist. So you're showing up for Michael, not for me. So thank you for doing that for this wonderful artist here. Before we ask our final question, thank you so much, G-Mate. I have to apologise to G-Mate. He's been messaging me, telling me to jump on a call with him. Dude, I've been so busy this week with all the channel revamp. I'll have a chat with you next week if it's okay. Thank you for the super chat. You rock, my friend. I love you lots, G-Mate, but I have to apologise to you. The last thing before I ask you the final question, I just want to share this because I think it's fun and funny, and we'll have a giggle at the end of the show. So everybody I have on the show, if you've been on the show, you'll know I send you an email. It's a customized email. Everyone gets the same email with all the details I need, and I ask for a 3-sentence bio from each artist. Now, this amazing man here sent me a fucking resume. Right? Look at this, right? And I'm telling you, like, I'm not doing this to try and shame you or embarrass you. I genuinely found this sweet, beautiful, but at the same time, head scratching and funny as all hell, because I just love here we've got bio, short, and hopefully sweet. And I giggled my ass off, and you've got your name here, Michael, and pronounced hey no, and just all of this was so wonderful. And I got to the end of it, and I'm like, I don't think I need to interview you now. I've got your entire life history. And I was going, I nearly wrote back, Michael, and said, you forgot your blood type. But now, I just, now I didn't show that to try and, embarrass you or anything. That I just thought that was really sweet, and it made me giggle, and I appreciate it a lot too. Thanks, Mr. Smith, for gifting a membership. Forrest of the Wolf just got a membership, so congratulations there. Thanks for everybody who's sent super chats during today. We've got our last question we're going to hit Michael with, who we hit everybody with. It's a bum burner. It's a really hard question. You're probably going to struggle with it so hard. Michael, if you were giving advice to somebody just starting out making music, when would you say is the best time for them to start?
As soon as you can.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on here, sharing some of your experiences, who you are, your travel, your thoughts, your just who you are. I find these shows incredibly fascinating to find out more about the person behind the Z's, because you are much more than a collection of Z's in the chat. And I'm so thankful that I've got to show that to people today, and for sharing your music and your passion. I will update the details down in the description. If you're watching on the replay, you can get the music. Yeah, I know, a bum burner. I don't know where this stuff comes from in my mind. So I will update the description with all the stuff and the thingy and the wobbly blues, whatever they are. We're going to go out today with another premiere. Do you want to tell us about this song we're premiering while I get it ready?
The music, actually, the video's from Liverpool. I just came back from it, and it's basically Beatles. And basically music is about basically surrounding that video about touring the Beatles museum. Did that a month ago.
Awesome. So I will just let you know, guys, one last thing. Please head back, check out my video I dropped last night on Moon Echo. You'll love it. It's a fascinating little story about this app, and you may learn something how to use the app. Also, this week we've got the opening hour happening here. It's a thrash metal special, so come along, please. And after Thomas Christ Live, before Pete Johns, come and join us for that. And today's drop of pre-recorded video is the update, where we cover all the things I may have missed during the week of app releases, updates, any apps that may have got updates and stuff like that. So that'll be up later today. Alrighty, let's get out of here and play this song. We're back here on this screen, so I'm doing everything right. This is, if I can get this multitasking thing sucks. This is Message to All. I'll just get it ready to go. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Michael, for being here. Let's play this and get the hell out of here. Have a great weekend, folks. There's lots of entertainment coming up on many, many channels, so get around there and support all the other channels. You've got, so many of them out here who do constant shows and live streams over the weekend, so go and support your local stuff. This is a message to all. Do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. We'll all rise together and stay awake, and we'll see you soon. Please stay on the call, Michael, and I'll say goodbye to you off the air. Let's Oja.